And welcome to the Behind the Dunes podcast. It's a special edition today. We are here with the EC team, the Ecstasy, Doug and Jane. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. How are you doing today?
Very good.
Great, thanks. Getting ready for our trip.
Oh, we're jumping right into the trip. Oh, all right. Tell us about your trip.
Go ahead, honey.
Well, we are leaving on Tuesday the 17th. We fly to South Africa to pick up our brand new 42-foot Leopard catamaran.
Are you excited?
Very excited.
We are. And then the next part of that is we're sailing a boat home to Hilton Head, South Carolina.
From South Africa?
From South Africa. It's about an 8,000-mile trip. We'll be making many stops on different little islands across the Atlantic. Don't know if you want to get into that, but
Yes.
All right, cool. So
Tell us all about it.
pretty easy. It's a trip. Like I said, will probably take about approximately 3 months, depending on weather. We'll leave Cape Town, South Africa, and go up the coast of Africa to Namibia, and from there we'll go halfway across the Atlantic to a little island called St. Helena Island, and from St. Helena we'll go almost directly north to a little island called Essentia Island. Little side notes to that is that because of COVID, they have pretty much shut down. So those two islands have never had any cases of COVID. They've never taken any vaccines because there was no need to, because no one was allowed in with COVID. So I think sometime down the road, this might be a sample case to see people that had the vaccine, no vaccine. So only reason I bring that up, it's very strict and very hard to get into these islands. Up until now, yachters, other boats trying to come in, they would just say, no, you can't come in. They have finally just opened in the last 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay, so they're...
Yep, so they're getting, because things are getting a little more relaxed, but there's a lot of things we have to do, document,
Visas.
visas.
You have to quarantine for 7 days,
Before you get there.
But the trip from St. Helena is 5 days,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a 5-day overnight trip, so we'll have to sit in the harbor for 2 days. No
Yeah,
big
yeah,
deal.
before you can...
Before we can actually go on their island.
And then from Ascension, we go over to Brazil. So we'll have made it across the Atlantic by that point. Little island called Fernando de Noronha. And then from there, go ahead.
I was just going to say, how many days is it
That's
going to take us?
It's a 10-day sail from Ascension to St. Helena. From St. Helena, our next scheduled stop is going all the way up to Trinidad. And we'll be going across where the Amazon River comes across and into the Atlantic. So sometimes that can be a little iffy because of trees and things coming out. And then the rest of it's a pretty easy trip, going through the Windward and Leeward Islands, through the Caribbean, up to the Bahamas, and then finally we'll make our landfall probably in Fort Lauderdale, Dania Beach actually, in Florida. So.
How long are y'all going to stay? A certain amount of time at each stop too, or?
Yeah, again, it all is weather dependent.
Oh, okay.
And again, not to get into the insurances, which is a huge issue. They only want you to spend so much time in so many places. Like we had to give them our whole itinerary from Cape Town back to the United States. And again, as a sailor and as the captain, I'm not leaving a port if there's bad weather. So you can give these sort of, initial schedule, but we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're supposed to leave Cape Town on June 10th. That might not be till June 5th, so that pushes everything back another 5 days. So it is.
But if it's clear weather, everything's good, you arrive, like say you get into St. Helena.
Yep.
You just basically within a day or so?
Oh no, it's beautiful. So
yeah, so you spend some
we'll
time.
stay there for like 5 days. I mean, that's what.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what the calendar says. Provisioning is really, really tough. We have a friend going with us. His name's Brian Zettelmoyer. He's actually a chef. He's actually a caterer. So I asked him if he could actually provision our boat for 90 days because we don't know. We know we have a water maker, so we are completely self-sufficient out there. and he'll have enough food to last for 90 days. Now, your fresh food, you know, your produce and something like that only lasts so long. But we'll have meat and rice and beans and stuff like that to last us 90 days. Because the reason I got into that, you try to provision in these countries, they get all their fruit and vegetables from planes. So you can imagine what the costs are. So we could buy it there, but the cost is 5 times as much as what
Are you going to
would-
fish while you're underway?
When the sales go up, fishing line goes out. Fantastic fishing on the way over. So some of the best things are fresh tuna and
Yeah.
having sashimi warm. It's a beautiful thing.
Delish.
So I want to take a step back.
Yep.
Before the trip, talk to us about like how you guys got into sailing or wanting to do this, because I know you've been sailing for
A long time.
a long time.
Long time.
But talk to us about before, because you guys did kind of a similar trip
Right.
a little while ago.
Yep.
Talk to us about that, and then getting into sailing and the origins of all that, and wanting to do this again.
I'll go way, way back. So there was a movie called Kon-Tiki,
Okay.
and I saw this movie, and it was about a reed boat going across the ocean, and I was just fascinated. I was a kid, and I watched this movie, and I said, I want to do that sometime. Fast forward to buying boats up on lakes in Pennsylvania, yada, yada. We finally get to Hilton Head. We moved down here 25 years ago and met this gentleman. His name is Michael Miltz. Very accomplished sailor, taught me pretty much everything I know about sailing. And they had a beautiful 60-foot boat. His plan was always to go around the world. My plan was always to go around the world. Not so much his wife and not so much my wife, his wife or my wife, but it was our dream together. So we bought boats together while we were here in Hilton Head. We vacationed down the Caribbean, sailed, raced on the ocean. So I started to get some of my experience that way. And finally it came up, it's like, you know what, he's getting older. He was almost 70, I think, at the point. And he said, why don't we buy a boat together and do this trip? And I said, I'm in. So that was back in 2003. We had this boat commissioned in Thailand, had it brought here, commissioned it, and we left from here. And our plan was to go around the world. That was the whole plan. And that's sort of going back to the beginning of this conversation. That's why we're doing this trip, to continue on that trip. So the plan was to go all the way around the world. We made it halfway. We made it to Sydney, Australia, which is about 14,000 miles.
Long way.
No, I'm sorry, 18,000 miles, which took us 14 months. So a little longer than that. We only had about 6 months left of the trip to get home. And my dad got really sick. We were in Fiji, I believe. No, Vanuatu maybe. And one of the islands in the Pacific, and we got a call. Oh, maybe it was New Caledonia, actually. So we were on an island, got the call from my sister. Dad's really sick. You need to get home. There's no getting off, so we hightailed it out of there. Went to Australia, took the boat down to Sydney and sold it and came home. Good news is my dad lived with us for 10 more years after that, so he recovered. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Hilton Head Hospital. So again, just going to that trip really, really quick. That trip, left from here, went to Bermuda. That was our first sort of maiden voyage. From there, Caribbean, through the Caribbean, ABC Islands, through the Panama Canal, out the other side, Galapagos, Tahiti, Marquesas,
All the
Cook
South
Islands,
Pacific.
Fiji, Vanuatu, and then again, the plan was to go north of Australia. Now my dad got sick, so we went south down to Sydney, and we had to sell the boat there.
So, going through the Panama Canal, how is that?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They do a lot of rigmarole when you get to Panama. You have to fill out all this paperwork, and we met this lovely guy. We went to the yacht club in Panama, and this guy said, I could help you do everything you need to get done. And we're like, okay, fine. So he said, you need to buy tires. We said, we need to buy tires? Why do we have to buy tires? And he goes, you need to put them on the side of your boat, all on the side of your boat when you go through the canal. I'm like, okay. And he goes, try to find somebody that went through used ones. That'd be great. Okay, fine. So we found tires. I don't even remember how we did it. At the yacht club.
I think he
Yes.
did. He was a taxi cab driver, but he knew everybody in Panama.
Yeah.
So,
He was,
and all the
like,
cruising
way
books,
connected.
and just real quick, all the cruising book says you really need to get, a professional
pay like
agent, and
$1,000.
pay all this money.
Right.
And this guy just shows up, he's texting, he says, don't worry about that.
I got it.
I got you.
Yeah, we're walking between, in back of lines, and we're going any place, and this guy's just, giving money to people and stuff like that. And it was the coolest thing in the world, but
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, they tell you, get your boat ready, and then we'll let you know when you're supposed to go. Because it's not like, I guess they told us the night before, right?
Yeah, they did.
So you have to be out in the middle of the water,
4
like
a.m.
4 o'clock in the morning. And then they, I guess we ended up getting, they usually do 3 boats when you're a sailboat. We happened to be the driving boat. So we had a boat on either side connected to us with our lovely tires on either
yeah.
side. So,
So my anxiety level was here, and then they told me that I was going to have 2 boats that I'm responsible for. They don't use their motor; it's only me driving. And it's like, okay, now my anxiety.
Yeah. Whole nother one.
Yeah.
and we were right behind a huge container.
Yeah.
A massive
God.
container. And so you hope that the captain understands what's behind him so he doesn't throttle up really,
Yeah.
throttle. Anyway, and get backwash for us. But he was pretty good.
First time, he was really, really bad. So the other thing that you have to get to go through there, you actually get a pilot
Oh, I
with
forgot
you
about
that
that.
comes onto the boat.
Oh, okay.
And then he tells you exactly what to do. So he's
That was
done,
my next question about the pilot.
He's done it thousands of times. So we had a pretty good pilot, and I heard him actually radio to the captain or the pilot of the container ship in front of us. And he said, don't forget we're back here. Well, I mean, you could see this prop. This prop is as big as this, is this room. And so we're right in back of him. He turned it on, and maybe he did it lightly, I don't know, but it pushed us back. And there's also, what you also have to rent are lines. So each one of the corners, and you have to have a person on each corner holding the lines, and that holds you in place. So, so this thing turned on, and it's just pushing us backwards into the actual locked doors in the back of us. And finally, he slowed down a little bit, and the wash went back. But it was pretty hairy right at the beginning.
That sounds terrifying.
Well, and then the other thing you don't even think about is if you have 3 sailboats, you have these masts.
Yeah.
So everything is good down here. Well, up here, a foot down here is 3 foot up here. So now the masts start to go like this too. And if they're hitting each other, it's all.
Oh my God.
But it was a great trip.
was
He was a
fun.
great pilot. If you don't go fast enough, which a lot of people don't know, you actually get stuck in the lake, in the freshwater lake in between. Bad news with that is you have to pay for your pilot to go home, and you have to pay for him to come back.
So we were racing.
Yeah, it's pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
I mean, sailboats don't go that fast, but we were going as fast as we possibly could, and we made it through.
We did make it through in one day.
With our used tires.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then you dump the used tires.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what you do with the tires after that.
They just recycle.
They resell them to the next person.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sort of like what they do with pine straw here. Okay?
Yeah.
Like,
That's fair.
And y'all probably have different answers, but on that trip, what would be your favorite?
we definitely have
Place.
different answers.
We do have different
Do you?
answers.
Okay, I'd be curious to hear what was your
Let's hear
favorite
both.
spots. Yeah.
You want to go first?
My favorite place, and I tell people this all the time, is the Galapagos Islands. It is a place that is just pure nature. Again, obviously Darwin was there, and it just, you are walking among sea lions, and they don't care that you're there. It's you're just another animal to them because there's no hunting, there's nothing. You're
No
swimming.
predators.
You're swimming with penguins.
There's no fear for them.
There's no fear at all,
I mean,
right?
you literally walk over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, penguins coming right up to your mask as you're diving and just pecking on your mask. It's amazing. And for children, we went on just a side note, you're not allowed to take, well, you are. You're allowed to take your own boat, but you have to hire a naturalist to go with you. Because what they're deathly afraid of is you bring like an apple and you put the apple core on the island. Now there's apple trees. Well, that's not indigenous, and it just wrecks the whole ecosystem. So you have to take a naturalist with you, which is a huge expense. So what most people do, you dock in the main harbor, and then you get on to one of the boats, either a big cruise ship, or we went on a littler boat, like a 100-foot boat that had 4 families.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't very many.
So, and the only reason I bring that up is because we were with 2 families that they had their grandchildren with them, and to watch these children with the penguins and the sea lion, it's magical. It's just absolutely. And we tell all of our friends, if there's a place to take your kid before they get too old, and even, I'm an old kid, but
It was cool
it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing.
to see blue-footed boobies and
Yeah.
red-footed.
And frickets and
It's just the coolest thing.
tortoises and everything. I mean,
How long were you there?
Almost a week, probably.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we went on the cruise ship. Like our boat partners, Michael and Vernetta, they went for a bit, and we stayed on our boat, and then they came back, and we went on the trip, and they stayed on the
We
boat.
didn't wanna
so
leave the boat.
We didn't want to leave
Yeah,
the
yeah,
boat
I miss
unattended.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah, especially if you don't know where you're at. Place you've never been before, too.
So your
Yeah.
favorite place? I think I know the answer.
Bora Bora.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
The waters are incredible. Probably the prettiest place I've ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, we snorkeled and we just had a blast. It was wonderful. And we got to get off the boat. It was your birthday, right? It was Doug's birthday, and they had these huts on the water, and the fish, you can see them right through your room. They have glass bottoms, which was really cool, but needless to say, we're on a boat. It didn't matter, but it was just a cool thing. And we got to leave our boat partners and be by ourselves and have fun in a hotel, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bora Bora was absolutely. I agree with you. It was the most beautiful place I've ever seen. It
Yeah.
just,
It looks like it. And I'm sure in person it's much better.
You need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go.
I'm sure it's a long flight, but
It is. We looked at that for our honeymoon, and the cost and the flight, we were like, we'll think
Probably
of something
not.
else. Maybe down the line, 10-year anniversary or something, we'll save up some money. But
So what do you do for like security of your stuff? So like say you have to leave the boat, like you said, you go on another boat and you just leave it in the harbor or wherever, anchored for a day, a couple hours, whatever. What stops somebody from just getting on your boat?
Believe it or not, and I know you probably have an answer too, but the yachting, boating family out there is so supportive and so protective of each other. I have so many stories, but they watch out. They watch out for you. Like we were in the harbor and another guy's anchor started to drag and he was on the boat. Well, we all got together and just made sure it was okay. And you tell each other. And you're in the harbor and you see a person next to you. You say, hey, listen, we're gonna be gone for the day. Could you just watch it, make sure everything's okay? It is a very, very tight knit because we're all in the same boat.
yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But you really are. So we're all the same, and there's nobody out there to protect us except for ourselves. Most people don't carry guns. We actually did carry guns on our boat. Most people don't for a lot of different reasons. But
this time we can't.
Yeah.
So
just
we're
found
going.
out today.
Yeah, we can't take them into the country. It's a big hullabaloo. They lock them down, and they don't even. In fact, the guy, our contact, said he's not even sure we could if we wanted to. He said if you're coming on safari and you're bringing your guns, you have to ship them to the person that is taking you on the safari. They hold them, and then when he takes you out for your shooting, at the end of the day, you have to give it back to him. He locks them up, and you can't have the guns until you're ready to leave on your flight. I guess he gets them out of lock and takes them to the airport, and that's when you can have them.
Wow.
So it's really, really
Our agent
strict.
there actually told us that his father, had a beautiful set of guns. A whole collection of guns. It's been 5 years.
He passed away, and because it's all in his father's name, he can't get them transferred into his, so they're still in lockup in the police, wherever they put them.
It's pretty bad. It's
So
pretty bad.
He can't even get them.
There's a lot of theft over there, a lot of shooting. So again,
My opinion for this on the side.
I think it's close
So
to my
needless to
opinion, too.
say, and Doug just bought a gun case because we thought we need a hard case, and it's arriving today, so that's going back.
Sidebar, is it a Pelican?
It's not. No. That was way too much.
Okay.
So, anyways,
was
so
gonna
we
say,
will
I'd buy it
have.
from you if it
We
was
will. I
Pelican.
found out from the same gentleman. We will buy some spear guns there. So
Yes, we have something.
Have you ever spearfished before?
I did not. So, and I want to.
Perfect
I know.
opportunity.
Seriously, absolutely.
Have
And-
you?
I have not, but it seems like it'd be cool.
Yeah. So we will have spear guns. We'll have at least 2 spear guns on the boat.
I'm not going near him. I will stay far away.
Make sure you use that GoPro. I'll give you a head mount. I want to see
When
the
you use it,
footage.
yeah.
I want to see the footage of you doing it. That'd
I
be
will.
cool.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons, another little side note is, so talked about our boat partner, Michael Miltz. He was a big proponent. He lived in New York City, always carried a gun. He even carried a gun while he was here in Hilton Head. And understandable from New York City, but I said, Mike, you live on Hilton Head, you don't need it. I'm gonna do it. And he said, we really should have guns on the boat. And he decided in the beginning of this whole thing that I was gonna be captain. And there's only one captain on the boat. And my vote was final, and I said, we're not taking guns. So I think he set me up. And we went to the South Carolina Yacht Club for an evening of food and drinks. And I just happened to be sat by the person that is in charge of the whole fleet for Exxon freighters, or oil tankers in Indonesia. And we're talking, having a good time. He said, oh yeah, he said, blah, blah, blah. And he says, every one of our crew members gets issued a machete before, each one of our trips. And, I said, why would a person need a machete on a oil tanker? And he said, they're instructed as the pirates come on, because they will come on the boat, they're instructed to chop their hands off when they get on the boat. And I said to Michael, we're taking guns.
Yes. That's all you need to hear.
So I was set up. I guarantee I was set up that night. But it's okay. And because we had guns, we are here, because we did get hit by pirates. And if we wouldn't have had guns, we would be dead. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So you mentioned that. Was it you that said something? He's like, you got to ask him about the pirate story. And I was like, I've never heard that. And they're like, you haven't heard that? I'm like,
I don't
"No,
think I've heard the
haven't
pirate story either. So.
But I guess you don't have to tell it. But if you want
No,
to
it's just,
elaborate,
it's actually, it's over a course of 3 hours, and try to compact. I mean, you want to start?
Sure. We were off the coast of.
We were between Galapagos and Marquesas. And
Okay.
that was our longest stretch. It's 3,000 miles and
us-
18 days.
Took us 18 days
with
without
not
seeing land.
or anything. So
Long time.
we're literally in the middle of it. So we're
Of
like
nowhere.
1,500 miles from any land in any direction. I was actually up. So what you do when you're sailing 24/7. I mean, you never stop. You can't. We're in 23,000 feet of water, so you're not putting an anchor down. So our boat partner Vanetta was up, and I said to her, anything going on? She said, no. She said, there's been a boat about 2 or 3 miles behind us. It's showing up on radar, but no lights, which is a weird thing. And she said, but it hasn't gotten any closer through my whole watch. And we had 3-hour watches. So I said, fine. She goes to bed. For some reason, the boat starts to get closer. Now it's like a mile, 2.5 miles. And it's like, well, that's strange. Now it's 2 miles. Well, there's sort of an unwritten rule when you're in the middle of the ocean that you don't get close to another boat. There's sort of like a 5-mile circle. I mean,
I was gonna say, what's the distance to something?
yeah, the ocean's big enough that you don't need.
You don't need to be anywhere near.
Right,
it. Yeah.
exactly. So guy has no lights, and 2 miles away, you should be able to see some lights. I call him up, ask what his intentions are, doesn't get back. International law states that you're supposed to have someone that speaks English on the radio at all times, 24/7. So
You also changed course.
I did. We changed course one time. When I changed course, he changed course. So did that a few times by myself. And if you've never been in the middle of the ocean at night, literally it is so dark you can't see your hand in front of you if there's no lights. So they're just
On your boat, because I'm not too familiar with it, there are lights, but like
but just the red and green and the
just
light
so
up
people
top.
can see far
That's it.
away, but not
Right.
where it's lit up on the boat.
No, because you don't want lights on during the night because it wrecks your night vision. So you try to keep lights at a minimum, red lights. Blah, blah, blah.
Even radar, you put it on for a little bit, take a
it
look,
off.
turn it off.
Yeah, okay.
So Jane was up next. So I said, Jane, why don't you just come up here just to see if what I'm seeing is right. Jane came up. We did a couple more turns, and every time we turned, he turned. At this point, now we have, good question, we have all our lights on. So on a mast, they're called spreader lights. So it's illuminating the whole thing. I mean, we look like a city. It's that bright. And now he's within probably a mile of us, maybe a little less, still no lights. And I said, Jane, it's time. I said, it's time to get, everybody up and get the guns out. We had a secret compartment in our boat because we had the boat made. So he had to take like 40 screws out just to get to our guns, and then we had
Behind
three-
all our clothes, it was.
we had ammunition on there, so Jane goes down, gets all the guns out. In the meantime, I'm calling and calling and calling, flashlight. Now he's in half a mile, quarter mile of us. I have my flashlight, our big spotlight, right on his helm. Not turning, and so we get the guns out. Jane and Vanetta go downstairs.
No, Renata was up with you.
Okay.
She shoots guns.
Okay,
I
Jane
don't.
went downstairs.
They gave me a little pistol and said, "Go down below." I did. I called Doug's father on our satellite phone. I gave him our Latin lounge.
Yeah.
What happens usually is they kill you, they take everything on the boat, and then they sink the boat, and nobody knows where you are.
It's a perfect crime.
So I just called to say, look, call the Coast Guard. I don't know what good it's going to do. Nobody's going to be able to get to us, but this is our lat lounge. If you don't hear from us again, you know probably what happened. Somebody's been following us. It's not good. So Doug just said, here's your gun. Close the hatch, lock it up, shoot till you can't shoot anymore. That's how he left me.
My
And I'm
God,
like-
what a feeling! Like just, I'm
like-
getting like anxiety sitting here listening to it.
So anyway, that's what I did, and Doug can tell the rest of the story
So
because he was
just,
upstairs.
and at the end, again, this was a 3-hour ordeal, right? So at the end of it, he was right. I mean, now we could actually sort of see the outline of the boat. It was a pretty big boat.
and you thought it was a fishing boat, right?
Well, yeah, that was the day before we saw a boat. And so had the gun in my hand, and I was calling on the phone, on the radio, and I said, listen, if you don't make a radical turn, I'm going to start shooting. And I tell people this all the time, which I can't believe I'm saying, but it's true, is that I was prepared to start shooting and killing people. I told them that. And I wasn't scared at all. I mean, there was nothing. And again, because I'm responsible for the whole boat, and I don't know what it was, adrenaline, I have no idea
It's
what
like
it
the
was.
fight or flight came syndrome,
Yeah.
where it's just like no fear at that point.
I
or
was
something.
never there, so I
Yeah.
didn't know. And I said, I will kill some of you. I'm sure you're going to kill all of us, but here we go. Thank God at that point he turned. He made a 90-degree turn, and he went away, and we never saw him again. But if we wouldn't have had those guns,
Yeah.
which most people don't, I don't think we would be here today.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we'd be dead. Half an hour, the end of that story, half an hour later, when things calmed down, I was shaking like a leaf.
Oh, yeah.
I was
When
scared.
you realize what just happened. Like,
During
what we
the-
just going through?
That is wild.
During the event, nothing. It was like steady as a rock. Afterwards, I was just and we never
drink
we
under
never
sea.
drink undersea. So you know,
Ever.
on our passages, there's a lot of stuff that can happen,
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
bad weather. So we never drink. We almost had a
We
glass
almost
of champagne.
opened champagne that
You
night.
gotta pop something.
We did.
We didn't. We had to keep our wits
Well,
about
that too,
us.
because you don't know if they're
You don't
coming
know.
back or another boat's coming with. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? But
And we still it was still the middle of the night, so
Yeah.
it was still
And
dark.
still
We're
nowhere,
still on
yeah.
watch, and
No one did sleep the rest of the night.
no,
Yeah, I
sure
don't think
not.
anybody would.
Yeah.
and for
man.
days after that, like even days
got
after
goosebumps.
that,
That's
I
crazy.
kept looking, going, "Oh my God, are they still going to follow us again?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But there's
we
nothing you
survived.
can do. Like I
Yeah.
said, we were.
I was wondering if you had to shoot like a warning shot too or something, because I mean, it's great that they like,
Yeah.
like okay, they got guns. Let's.
That was my first.
get
But
out
they
of
could.
here,
See,
but
they were that close. They could
They
see
could
we had
see.
guns.
And you had
yeah.
our big spotlight on them.
Huge spotlight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know how big, but it was. They knew that we knew they were there, and they knew we had guns.
Yeah, and they were probably hoping that it was a boat that didn't.
Exactly,
Or they
which-
said, well, we can't take them for whatever reason, and then easy
pickings.
pricks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So, for anybody going across oceans, I would highly recommend taking weapons if you can.
Yeah.
That's just me. And I'm not a gun guy.
Yeah.
But just saying.
Yeah. So this time.
Because you're not calling anybody to help you. There's no one coming. F-15s are going to take, 3 hours to get there? So,
Yeah. I mean, you're so far out.
But to the end of the story, the Coast Guard did actually call us back.
Oh, well.
Oh.
They called us on our satellite phone. They said, "Are you guys okay? Can you report what kind of boat it was? Where were you? Blah 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 blah." And we gave them all the information, and they said, "Are you okay?" We said, "Yeah," and that was it. So that was kind of cool. We never
Yeah.
really thought anybody was gonna call us, and let us know. Another side story of when you go into countries, it's really different. You're supposed to hail their flag when you're coming in on a boat. You have to put your quarantine flag on. When we came into Australia, they had
no, New Caledonia. You talking about the weapons taken out?
No.
Oh,
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah,
part.
go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just when we came into Australia, they had a plane fly over our head.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you? What's your intention? How many people are on your boat? Do you have any animals? We're rushing around trying to find our American flag because you never sail it. It gets too tattered when you're on the sea. So we're rushing, we're Americans. There's 4 adults. Like, we're good people.
Don't shoot.
We were like, holy cow. Do they do that when you get into the United States? We don't know because we
Yeah.
never got back here on a boat. So we're going to be curious to see what happens
How
when
it
you
works
get
coming-
into
yeah.
United States waters.
That'll be interesting.
It will be very
I'll have
interesting.
to get you back on to hear about that coming in. So
We'll have to do like another special podcast when you guys sail into the harbor over here at Shelter Cove.
is this where you're gonna come in? Right here?
Yeah, probably will end up here. It's one of the best harbors on the island. So protected. So yeah, we'll probably definitely come back here.
And
If
what were
they
you
have
going to
room.
say about? some
No,
of the
I thought she
weapons?
was going to tell the other story. So what you do, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this on air, but what a lot of these small countries, and you read about it, it's out there. So when you take weapons with you, and that's why we had this compartment made, that even if they looked at our boat, they would never find the guns, because if you declare your guns, you have to give them up. You give them to the local police, and then just so happens the day you're trying to leave, they aren't home. They aren't there.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden your guns are there. You have to go because of the weather. Now you just lost your guns, your ammunition. So we only declared our guns in Bermuda, and then we didn't do it until
Vanuatu,
New Caledonia.
New Caledonia.
In New Caledonia. So New Caledonia is a French island.
But they love Americans.
Yeah, they do. But tell them what they do.
So we had all our guns in a big duffel bag, and then we had all the ammunition in another one, and they came down, the police came down, and they're like, the Jardin.
Yeah.
They go, what army are you trying to, who are you fighting? What war are you fighting with all these guns? And we're like, oh, we're just having for protection. Person, you sure?
Are you starting a war? Well, we're Americans.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
ended up
that's what we
saying.
did.
We're Americans. And they were just like, wow.
But they did bring them back.
Yeah.
They did
Yes,
bring
they were very nice. And when we were ready to leave, they did bring them back to us. So that was really good. Because we needed to make sure we declared them when we got back, when we got into Australia, because that was a big deal.
So when you don't declare them and you have them hidden in that compartment, correct? Do they come and search the boat? and
Sometimes
everything
they
too?
do. Yeah, a lot of times they come on
but
the
it's just
boat.
so well placed.
Most of the time, what you do is the captain goes on shore. You have all your passports for the whole crew. You have, what your itinerary is, and they just check you in. You pay some money, you check in. But there are a lot
The
in
bigger
fact,
islands.
Bigger islands, yeah. They actually come on the boat and look again to see what's on the boat, who's actually there.
Australia came in hazmat suits,
Big bags.
big bags of garbage. They went through
They took
everything.
all of our food.
Everything that we got there at night, so I don't know. Sorry. We got there at night, so we had to stay on the boat in quarantine, as they make you do with the yellow flag, till they come on your boat. And we were told, eat everything perishable, like eat fruits, veggies, meat, eggs. Try to eat as much as you can because they're going to take it if you don't, because they don't want contamination on their island from anything
Which we
that we would
understand.
bring. They don't want to start an epidemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, they came in hazmat suits and went through our refrigerator and freezer. Our friend had a plant. They took her plant. It was never even off the boat. They said, it doesn't matter. It's going in the garbage.
Shells, seashells, all sorts of
Seashells, yeah. They chucked it. I hid
In the
stuff.
garbage.
Yeah.
I hid it, so they couldn't find it.
But we ate like kings that night.
Yeah.
We just eat everything we possibly could
Yeah.
because it was going to go away.
Might as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was all
good
good.
stuff.
So you sold the last boat,
Yep.
and when did you get back here?
2004, December, like the
Basically
4 days
2005.
before Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so then 2004 to you guys bought this boat 2020, 2021, this new one?
Yep.
Yep. The beginning of this
So-
year, or last year, sorry.
In that time period from 2004 to then, what was your thought process like? Oh, we have to do this trip again. We have to get another boat, or did it just come out of nowhere? Let's go buy a boat again.
No, God.
Well, we still had both our mothers. My mother was going to be 91. Doug's mother is going to be 90 this year. So taking another really long trip was probably not going to happen. My mother depended on me here, but she passed away. So that made it a little bit easier for us to start thinking about the trip. Doug's mother lives with his sister, so you know, she's taken care of on a daily basis. And
We've had boats.
yeah, we've
since.
had
We've had
three,
three boats in
three
between.
power boats in
Power
between,
boats,
so
right.
it's not like we were boatless.
Yeah.
But we knew we were going to finish the trip eventually, and then Doug said, "Why don't we?" Well, we looked for used boats for a while
Yeah.
for the trip, and we just couldn't find anything that we thought was what we wanted. And one of the salespeople down in Florida suggested we look at a brand new boat, and we were like, "No, I don't think so." He said, "Yeah, really, go look at it." So we did, and this is a brand new boat. We bought this boat without seeing it. Leopard is a very reputable company. They make lots of boats, but this is the first time they made a 42-foot catamaran. So nobody had seen it. People were buying it without seeing it. You had to put a non-refundable 20% deposit down on the price of the boat. And so we just
We did.
said, do it.
Pull the trigger. Let's go.
And it's a year to build it. So, you know, that was back in pretty much March.
January or
March, yeah, of last year, and we're finally just picking up. It's just,
Wow.
it just got splashed, so it is officially a boat. It's floating, which is nice. So we plan to actually purchase it on the 25th.
Fifth.
Yeah.
We talked to South Africa this morning. They said the boat's on schedule, everything's good. They just checked the props and they had no problems. So, so we ordered a bunch of aftermarket things, and that's going to happen probably starting Monday.
Right.
They're going to put everything else on. We have solar panels being put on. We ordered a dinghy with, what's that contraption called on the back of the boat?
Davit system.
A davit system, so the dinghy will hang on that when we're under sea. And
It's a great boat. And one of the reasons we picked Leopard is that at one point, up until not too far in the past, is they actually delivered every one of the boats on their own bottoms, which was a unique thing. So most manufacturers, like in France and stuff like that, they'll take the boats, put them on a big container ship, and send them over. These boats all were brought over on their own bottoms, so you know it's a seaworthy boat when you get it.
Right.
And probably 90% of the people that buy these boats in America, oh no, probably more than that, probably 97%, do that. Now they do put them on because they're making a lot more boats. They put them on these freighters and bring them here, and then they take possession here. We just wanted to do the Atlantic crossing to put it as part of our trip, and then the only thing we'll really have left is the Indian Ocean. So that's the next trip. Yeah, next step.
So on your original trip, you just took a normal sailboat, right?
Yep, a monohull, a 54-foot Hylas.
And then what made you guys want to do a catamaran this time?
Jane, like I said earlier, she gets seasick. The catamarans have a much better feel. I mean,
Right.
we were so jealous. We went across the Pacific with 2 catamarans, and they'd get into port and they'd have like a wine glass sitting on their countertop. And you know, when a monohull goes out sailing, most of the time you're like this. The whole trip is sideways. And they're just sitting there, it's like, oh yeah, it was a great trip. And they're faster, they're more stable.
they always beat us into port. We hated that.
Yeah.
And so
So for
hopefully
Jade's
it'll
sake-
be better. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. I
Yeah.
still purchased a lot of seasick pills. So.
Yeah.
The first trip when we went to Bermuda, I slept in the cockpit for 5 days. That's how long it took us to get there. I could not go down below. I just got so.
Yeah.
So never happened. But I got taken care of. Everybody came and fed me,
Yeah, yeah.
brought me stuff. I ran down to go to the bathroom, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Came back up for 5 days.
Man, that's a tough feeling too when you're just out in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it's
Nothing to do.
There's no place.
it's one thing to go out on a fishing charter knowing you're coming right back
Right.
a few
Yeah.
hours later, but whew, that's a tough feeling.
Yeah, so pretty much takes me 5 days to get my sea legs. I'm hoping it's less this time, but we'll see.
Yeah. And this trip, all the places you were naming, all those are new spots for y'all? Or?
The Caribbean. We've done the Caribbean, but we did it on the 54 coming down. So we did almost all of the Windward Islands, and most of the BVIs and stuff like that. Some of the new stuff that we didn't do is the Bahamas. We'd really like to hit Turks and Caicos.
We've never been there.
Like to hit Puerto Rico. We didn't do that. St. Croix. So there's a few islands that we did not hit before. So there's enough that, it'll be a great trip coming back.
If we have time and hurricane season doesn't
Does
hit,
it come early or
doesn't
something?
come
Yeah.
early.
Well, I mean, we're going through during hurricane season, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast about insurance.
Yeah.
And insurance is really, really expensive, especially if you're going to be in an area, they call it the box. And if you're inside that box during either cyclone or hurricane season. 'Cause
Starts in July, right?
about to say, is it
1st.
July?
It's-
technically it
it actually
starts.
starts June 1st and goes to November 1st. But we
But
all
most
know,
of them come later in
Yeah, exactly.
September, October. is the
especially
big
here,
time.
like in Hilton Head, I mean, most of them, it's
Yeah.
usually September,
September,
October.
But you see some, I guess, in
Yeah.
maybe late July, early August that never get here and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah.
So that'll be a determining
And
factor.
like Brazil and some of those never.
Never been there.
Yeah.
No, never been. Well, South America, we've been to Galapagos. That's part of Ecuador.
Yeah.
But never been on mainland, and we won't be this.
won't,
We're
yeah.
talking about. It really depends because that's a long trip from the island off the coast of Brazil to Trinidad. It's a 12-day trip. I think it's like 12 or 1,400 miles. So there's a couple of countries that a lot of cruisers don't go to. That it depends on the trip and it depends on how we are doing on our time. We might duck in for a day or two, and just to say that we were there. And there's supposed to be some beautiful ports and stuff like that. So we might do that. All weather.
Permitted.
Permitted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, if hurricanes hit early, we're gonna probably take the boat to Trinidad and have them haul it out, and we'll just fly home
Fly
and
home,
go
get
back
out.
in November and pick it up and come home.
Yeah.
So hopefully that won't happen, and we'll be able to come back to Hilton Head. That would
Yes.
be our dream.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We're not silly. We're all about safety.
Yes, which you got to be. But that next trip y'all are talking about in the future, is there a envisioned time frame for that, or is that just kind of like let's get through this one and then we'll
There's a-
talk about
No,
it?
there's a couple different things. I mean, there's a reality that this is the boat, and then we go from here, go across the Atlantic again to like the Azores, and then go in through the Med, and then I've always wanted to go through the Suez Canal. So if we did that, we go through the Med, Suez Canal, and then across the Indian Ocean, and then again we get to Australia, we would sell the boat, come home, and then we're
done.
we did our trip.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's not like we won't have a boat, but it'll be a different boat.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't need this
Which you
big of
don't
a
need,
boat
yeah.
here.
No, no.
No.
for sure.
Even though we do like anchoring out and sleeping out in the water. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is gonna be a perfect.
Well, I don't know.
setup.
You'll see. He might love it. Say, well, we need to keep it because this is amazing.
Oh, I don't
So-
know. He would live on it if
Yeah.
it was up to Doug. We'd
Yeah.
be living on the boat and selling the condo, and we would be out here in
I was about to
Shelter
say a
Cove.
couple years from now, you're going to be living out there. So.
He
We
would
will no.
do
We
that.
will always own a place on Hilton Head.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
yes.
that's just this is our future. Been here for 25 years. It is. Jane, just a real small side note. Jane actually thought that we weren't coming back, so she thought that we were doing this trip to find some place to move, and move there, and that's it. And
We never did.
no, I
We
mean,
never found a place as good as Hilton Head.
No.
Ever.
No.
It has so much to offer than any other island we ever went. Bora Bora was beautiful, but they don't have any amenities
Oh, yeah.
at all compared to here.
yeah, some
no
are more
other
beautiful,
places.
some are but
You got
nothing.
nicer water. That's about it.
Yeah, they do. They have it's a nicer, bluer, clearer water.
I mean, we basically rode around Bora Bora on a bike in a day.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
wow. Yeah.
that gets
Couple
pretty
hours,
quick.
not
Yeah.
Pretty
Kind of saying that.
Yeah.
We have 300 restaurants. I mean, it's just
All the golf and
Yeah.
tennis and
Yeah.
biking. I mean, just.
nice to visit, but
And
not
that
to
makes
live.
sense for why so many people are coming here. 'Cause
Exactly.
I think we're going a couple weeks from now. We're going to the Outer Banks, which I've never been. But I was talking to my brother-in-law. He's like, "Yeah, the house we got literally. I hope you love the beach because that's all we got to do. You know, it's just out there, which I'm fine with, and I'm good to get away. But it is when you look at Hilton Head, man, just so much here.
yeah,
So
yeah,
pretty.
It's different. It is different, and it's amazing. I'm sure you guys have experienced too. But I mean, when we go away, we look forward to getting back home. You know, and you don't. You sometimes, again, especially after 25 years, you don't appreciate it every day like you should.
You
Like
get so numb to it.
You do, and the beauty of it, and every once in a while you have to just take a step back and say, and pinch yourself like, I live here.
Yeah.
Like the tourists come and they leave, I live here.
Yeah.
I mean, like
So-
our office right here. Like,
Oh my God.
I'm so numb to like I literally work in a marina,
Yeah.
and like if you look out the back of the window right now, there's been hundreds of people that have walked by that are on vacation, and we're just like, yeah, we're just doing a podcast. Like, we live here.
Yeah.
Well, and you're a little jealous sometimes of the tourists because they're on vacation and they're
Yeah.
going.
Partying,
We're working.
having
They're
a good time.
enjoying the beach.
They're
and
here
stuff.
2 weeks and then they go. And
Yeah.
we stay.
We have to keep reminding ourselves about they
And
were
we
going.
love
For sure.
And we love the tourists. I mean, this island doesn't exist
If the
without
tourists.
tourists.
100%.
So need them, love them.
Appreciate them.
I did that walking up to the office today because it was supposed to be raining all this morning, and it's
Oh,
Beautiful.
pretty much nice and sunny now. And I'm walking up, and sun's coming out. I'm like, I'm literally walking to Shelter Cove Marina to film a podcast for like my job. You know what I mean? So
If you don't like the
Man.
weather, wait 30 minutes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It was raining at 4:30 this morning.
It was.
Yeah.
We were up.
Taking the dogs out.
yeah,
Ay, ay. It's all good.
yeah.
We're getting excited, nervous.
I
We
bet.
have so much to do yet, and
I bet. And
we're
Tuesday's
starting to
coming
freak
quick.
out.
And,
Oh, we
yeah.
have a container.
Have you shipped your pallet out yet?
No,
No.
that's supposed to happen on Monday.
Monday.
The day before you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, it's only 3 days till it gets there, so we're sending a big container. We have about 700 pounds worth of things.
stuff. Water makers, all the bad, good news, bad news. The bad news with South Africa is they're at 220. So you don't think about this. We're making our boat a 110. So all the appliances and things like that just don't work. So we're taking microwaves, toasters, all that stuff.
All
that
appliances
could,
you
if
can't
we
get.
if we did it here in America, it'd be easy.
Yeah.
We have to take all that stuff with us.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Tools, all kinds of things. It's amazing how much 700
So much
pounds
stuff that you probably,
accumulates.
you start to brain.
And you
oh,
have to
gosh.
and you have to actually itemize everything that you put in these boxes. Literally every
They want to know.
a shirt. You have to tell them what material it's made out of. So
It's ridiculous. 3 shirts and the value. They want to know the value of it because you have to pay a VAT when you get to South Africa. You have to pay a
Value
tax.
of shirt even?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a tax on that. when you come
Spoons.
Oh, my
How
God.
much is a spoon worth?
Who knows? I don't know. You don't buy one. You typically buy a set.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you
Here's a
gotta.
set.
So
yeah.
all that 700 pounds of stuff, you guys are then going to have to pay taxes on top of already having to have paid taxes when you first bought it.
Yeah, the good news is that
We hope.
Yeah, we hope that because we're transit, so this is not for sale. We're not taking that stuff
And we're not
to
bringing
their-
it into their
to
country.
sell it. We're taking it to put on the boat and leave. So our agent over there says that there's a way to do that. That you might have to pay the tax, but as soon as they see that you're actually leaving,
They
can get the
refund
money
you
back.
somehow.
Refunded back.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that stuff is, if you don't have an agent, I don't know how you would do it without an agent. I really don't. So we're relying heavily on our agent.
We are. And we just realized we forgot to put the blender in. How could you be on a boat without a blender?
Gotta have that.
How could you?
No margaritas for 3 months.
Well, you remember you're starting to take stuff from your house. Before you know it, things are empty and you're going, I just saw it and I went, oh my God, the blender does.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
you
all,
think how hard it is just to pack for a weekend trip, and
Yeah.
I feel like always I
3
forgot
months.
something. 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now you have a 700-pound pallet that you're sending, and now you can send another 5-pound box with the blender in it.
Yeah.
Just the
It
blender.
keeps-
yeah,
We get charged $5 a pound for every pound we put in.
yeah. So
So there you go.
it's all good though. It's all good. These are just
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's just little things that until you do it, you don't know, and it's a learning process. So we've been learning a lot
Yeah.
in the last couple months.
And it's going to be cold when we get to South
Well,
Africa.
not cold.
It's going to be cold by my standards. Highs are going to be in the 60s,
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
70s.
maybe.
Oh, but then if you're out of water, too, it's going to be
Colder.
Yeah, it will be cold. Yeah.
So sweatshirts for me,
Yeah.
turtlenecks.
It's different once it's now getting in the 80s here. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Summer weather. Yeah.
Exactly. And we're going to go on a safari when we get there. So that's real good. We just talked to them this morning and they have wonderful wines. So we're going to do some wine tasting while we're there. And we heard
Just tasting, not drinking, just tasting.
right.
Yeah.
And we heard Cape Town is beautiful. So
Cape Town is supposed to be, I don't know if you've seen any YouTubes or, it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just, the more I read, the more I watch about it, I'm just so intrigued.
Yeah.
And we'll be there for about 3 weeks.
hopefully not.
Yeah, but most of it's going to be boat. I mean, we're going to be
Yeah,
working on the
yeah.
boat, getting the boat ready to go. But hopefully we'll take a few side trips to see how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Pete go there a year or two ago? or
Yes.
something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing on his Facebook he was there for a couple weeks. weeks or
What-
something.
what'd he say?
Pete Popovich. It seemed like he loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, every video, picture, it was just.
One of the kids he used to teach that went to play golf at like Notre Dame, and now he plays professional in South Africa. He flew him over to like help him prepare for a couple tournaments,
Oh,
and
nice.
Pete was there for I think like 2 weeks.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it looked
it was
amazing.
pretty cool from the
Most
pictures
people
I
that
saw.
go there, they say we're going back, and
Yeah.
they do go back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that good. The food, just the people, everything about it is just fantastic.
We're excited.
Yeah.
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 We will be on Tuesday at 4 o'clock when we're on the plane in Savannah.
Yeah, we'll
And we
be-
can breathe.
4 a.m.
4 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, oof.
4 p.m.
So you
No.
flying out of Savannah? I guess there's a layover.
Go to
Chicago.
Chicago, Frankfurt, down. There's actually a direct flight. Maybe Pete did this. There's a direct flight from Atlanta to Cape Town. It's 23 hours in a plane.
Yeah.
It's like the longest
just-
flight in the world. There's no way I want to
Yeah.
be in a plane for 23
He
hours.
could have. I did see. I think he saved up, and that was when he got first class tickets. So I mean, if you're going to do that,
So
that's
he
not
flew
the only
from
way to do it. It's
here,
23
I
hours.
think,
Oof.
to New York, then from New York over to Amsterdam,
Yep.
Amsterdam.
Yeah,
to
Great.
South
yeah.
Africa.
So it's almost the same as what we're doing.
Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah.
And we did get first class
We,
tickets. so
I've,
we
never,
will be
I've never
safer.
flown in first class.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be a first for me. It was because we booked it during COVID. So the rates that we got, the price that we got, which is
Amazing, bro.
ridiculous. And we're only going one way. So
True,
you
yeah.
know that return ticket, which
That's
is
true. Yeah.
which is nice. So
Man.
Where'd you guys get the insight for that trip?
I don't know.
there's this guy.
Oh, he's got to plug himself into the podcast.
In our office, I don't know.
He
knows a
literally
little
knows
bit of
everything
track.
about every credit card,
Was
every
it a credit card? Yeah.
the
We
credit
just had the same
card,
conversation.
airlines, you name it. This cameras. He is a wealth of knowledge.
Guns.
Gun-
Anything. Yeah. I don't know
We'll
how he
edit
knows
that part out. We'll edit that part out.
Man.
All right, so talk to us about your logo and the
Yes.
name that you guys have come up with for
Well,
this.
I wish you tell it.
And I see it too. Because it's almost the
Yeah.
skull head within the
Well,
turtle.
it's actually so when you go across. I'll just do the first part of it. So when you go across on a sailboat across the equator, you become a shellback. So I wanted something to say, hey, listen, I actually did that. So I only have one tattoo. Probably only ever had one tattoo. So I have this tattoo. That's a turtle and the shell. So I had that on my arm, and I said I'd really like to do something with that. So I called a friend of mine, John Yazlinski, and he does this. He does shirts.
His wife Stacy does
Stacy.
embroidery for companies all over the world. She's got massive machines
Yeah.
right here on Hilton Head.
Oh, wow.
And they said, let me help you design it. And they said, do you have a name? We said, no. So I go ahead with the name.
So then I started asking all our friends, hey, we need to name the boat. Anybody got any ideas? This and that. And my friend Karen Vasquez said, I got it. How about X2C? And I'm like, that's so cool.
It's such a good name, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, our friend Karen named our boat. So that's how we got it.
But there are
And
different
So
reactions to the
clever.
name.
yes, apparently people think of drugs.
Who would think that?
Yeah.
I
Oh, there's
don't
the
know.
drug boat going by. Wipe him down.
And is that a really good thing coming into a country
No.
with ecstasy in the side of your boat? So I don't know how it's going to work, but
We're going with it.
Yeah.
has nothing to do with drugs, obviously.
But once they see the name, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And,
Of course.
yeah, you're like, okay.
We thought it was clever.
Yeah.
We love it, actually. Absolutely.
No, they did a great job. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, we think so too.
So thank you, John.
We had to wear
And Stacy.
and Stacy. We had to wear our shirts today.
Yeah.
We just got them.
We just literally got him.
Yeah. So we're pretty
So
excited.
while you guys are underway, how can we keep track with you, keep up with you?
Can we put a link somehow on
Sure,
this?
if you send it to me, I will
Okay, yeah,
put
we'll
it
do
in
that.
the
We
show
have-
notes.
We have a thing called Iridium Go. It's a way to stay in contact. So it's a satellite phone. And so that thing, the actual Iridium Go has the ability to send a signal up, and you can say every hour, every 2 hours, every day. And that thing sets it up. If you have unlimited, which we do, it'll send a message up to the satellite every hour, and so you'll literally, and it lays down breadcrumbs as you go across. So you can actually watch us go from spot to spot to spot. It's pretty cool. It's a great safety thing. So yeah, we'll have that on board, and I can actually we can put a link to that. So you can track
Send
us.
it all to me and I'll put it in the notes.
Thank you. We do have,
And so I guess that probably didn't exist back when the whole
Not
other
the
situation happened, you know, because
not the tracking part, no,
Yeah,
we had an
show kinda where
Iridium,
you're at.
you know, big Iridium phone at that point. So we did have satellite communication, but not that sophisticated.
tracking.
And this one's what, this big
Oh
now?
my God.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's literally that big, and then you use your phone. It sets up a Wi-Fi in your boat, and you use your phone to actually make phone calls and texting.
Oh,
It's pretty cool. There's
that's pretty cool.
no internet. It's very, very slow. It's like the old dial-up. A lot of people out there don't know or remember that, but it's very slow.
Yeah.
So when you make port in certain countries, will you be able to like
Yeah.
connect to their cell
Yes.
signal and everything?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Hopefully, they'll have it, and yes,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to download a couple of pictures onto, is that a website too, the X2C?
Yes. Yep. There'll be a website. There'll be a Facebook page.
So we'll be able to put pictures
But you're also going
on.
to become a TikTok star, aren't you?
According to Connor.
According
yes,
to
I
Connor,
am.
we are. We're not sure how we're
If I
going to
know
do
how
that.
to do that.
I guess
He
we'll-
said it's very easy. I got a new camera, and we're gonna be doing what, 10 seconds or so? Whatever you tell me to do, that's what we'll do.
Doug's going to become a TikTok star.
Or you're leaving him like 3-4 days. We gotta crash
Figure it out.
course.
He's,
Yeah.
he's a smart guy.
Probably. Okay. You'll figure it out. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'll hold the camera.
No, it looks relatively easy. I'm sure we can handle it. I just don't know if anybody's really interested in what we have to say. That's all. So,
But people will be interested not only in what you have to say, but your trip too.
This
Yeah.
trip would be,
yeah.
people would definitely watch that.
I would watch it. So
Well, we are trying. I told Connor this. We're trying to get a camera set up that it literally records 24/7. Now it's a lot of information, and we'll have to figure this whole thing out. But when I tune into sailing YouTube pages, you know, I'm interested in where they're going, stuff like that. But I'm more interested in the actual sailing and the sky and things like that. And we've talked about this. So I'm going to try to figure that out. Whether it's 24/7, whether it's a couple hours a day, I'm not sure yet. It depends on upload and how we do all that. But I'm going to try to do that because I think there's a lot of people out there that would be interested in that.
Oh, for sure.
There's enough people saying how beautiful Cape Town is.
Yeah.
They don't need me to tell them that.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot about. And
But
this.
yeah, if you're into sailing, what better way to
Right.
firsthand experience to see it? Yeah.
So.
And on the new boat. That's awesome. Yeah.
We're
I can't wait to
excited.
see it when you guys get back.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We can't to see it when we get there.
Oh, I can.
We are. It's there's a lot to do between now and then. There's been a lot to do up to this point, but our list is getting smaller.
We had like 100 things on, then we're down to 50. I think we're at 45 now, or 40. I mean,
It's progress. Check it away.
I'm sure I'm exaggerating. There's not that many, but
It seems that way.
Seems
Yeah.
that way.
You got like 10 more a day now until
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you leave.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. Just 10 a day. No
It's
worries.
like eating an elephant, just
Yeah.
one bite at a time.
One little bite at a time.
Exactly. You'll get there.
We will. And you know what? The reality is, if we do forget stuff, it's nothing. There's stuff that's already in the crate and in our suitcases is enough to sustain us.
That's
the
the-
rest of it's just a comfort thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we forget comfort things,
You
it's
can,
fine.
you can survive.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can buy things there, which I'm sure we will. So
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
we have a budget for it. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, guys, it was a pleasure having you here and
Yes.
hearing about this trip and your past trips, and I can't wait to see
I'm
more.
excited for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear about it.
I'm super hyped. So
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by the end of June you'll get something that will be in the waters, and you'll be able to follow us.
Yeah.
and I'll plug all the information that you guys give me, your website, your tracker, all that
Oh,
stuff.
the cool. Everybody can click that.
Your
follow.
TikTok, so we can all follow you.
There you go.
Do I have to
So,
make a TikTok then?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So
Okay.
you have to set up a TikTok?
Yeah. And we'll talk about it after this.
Okay.
He knows about that too.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a TikTok?
No, I don't. I deleted
well, see, he doesn't know.
Oh no! Wait! Whoa! He
Yeah,
does that one,
he
but I
doesn't
have to
know.
get.
It's fine. We'll figure it out. But thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to check out X2C on their website and the tracker and follow along.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah.
It was a
It was
pleasure.
fun.
Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate
That's
it.
great.